Hey guys, Peter Stewart here, Lynx Recruitment. Hope you're well. What we're going to be doing is a series of interviews from people within the construction market, key players in the game, people who are supplying the industry. I'm here today with Pete from BuildBim. Pete, mate, give us a bit of a rundown on what you guys do.
So thanks for the opportunity, Pete, for being here. Lynx obviously is one of the up-and-comers in the industry.
Thank you.
We expect big things.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, so BuildBim is an architecture and BIM services company with offices in Christchurch, Auckland and Santiago.
That's in Chile for anyone.
Sorry, Santiago, Chile, yes. So we've got clients in Chile and New Zealand. Fundamentally we provide architectural services from range from residential, light commercial, and then we are a BIM services company where we provide BIM services from management, coordination, modelling, so I guess 3D modelling of services being electrical, mechanical, plumbing. The rest to provide a lower risk construction methodology and design process, and integrating those two parts of the industry.
So as far as the industry goes, you're certainly at the forefront in regards to technology.
Yeah, so what we've been pushing for the last 6 years is, I guess, a more digital-centric build methodology. We believe that digital construction is the future in the sense of being able to identify clashes and issues earlier on in the construction phase, i.e. in the design phase, and then there's other benefits that one can get by adding additional data to the digital design. And
how have you guys, I guess, been received so far? I mean, from the BIM side of your business, I guess it's fairly early doors.
Well, yeah, so we've been, I guess, early movers in our industry. When we started the conversations around BIM, we were a lot more about whether we thought it would be a game changer, whether we thought it would be adopted. There's been a government drive to use BIM to improve the productivity of the construction sector. So at the moment, the large contractors and subcontractors don't really have a choice, but to, if they want to tender for large government jobs, there usually is a BIM part of that contract, which if they don't have internally, they come to a BIM subcontractor like ourselves, or else they try to develop that internally. So it has developed a long way in the last 6 years.
And I think we were talking about that earlier in terms of the actual education coming through from our local education providers. It's very, very early. I think
it's just, they've been teaching ArchiCAD and Revit as part of their architectural courses, but in terms of taking all the different, trades and integrating those, and actually how that affects the construction program, i.e. early contractor involvement, subcontractor involvement. There's no point putting a whole lot of detail into the design model if it's then going to be changed post-tender, right? And there's a lot of theory about it as well, but absolutely. I think the education sector, I know that Christchurch Polytech, or ARA, has just started a program. I don't know what's happening out here, but definitely it's been identified as an industry where you can't really get skills for it on the job. It's hard to get beyond just understanding the software, but understanding the processes of the different trades. It's kind of an on-job profession now, and the universities and polytechs are
trying to keep up.
Yeah, and trying to provide the market with those skills.
I guess where you find a lecturer or a teacher to come and do it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So they went to market, and we were one of the invited companies to assess and assist with the the program course.
Cool.
And give feedback on that.
And what projects are you guys worked on or being part of at the moment, perhaps that you that are interesting and exciting?
They're all pretty big. In terms of the BIM side of the company, they're all, BIM is more focused on the large scale construction, so it's either public or large commercial. So in
Yep.
terms of public, we've worked on the renovation of the intensive care unit at Dunedin Hospital.
Yep. Cool.
We've been working on the Westfield and Newmarket, Broadway Ave.
Wow. Yeah.
We've been working on the Auckland Convention Centre, new Fisher and Paykel building.
Cool.
Yeah, there's
And those are some pretty established contractors as well.
absolutely,
On those jobs.
and so there's a mix there of private and public. We've worked on public schools down in Christchurch and swimming pools, and so it's that mix of the private client, the large private client who's a recidivist developer, i.e. at Westfield, and they just know that that's a better way to deliver large projects, de-risks them, but it's about trying to get the supply chain up to speed to be able to deliver. It's one thing just to write what they call a BIM execution plan and say, look, this is what we want. It's another thing to actually find a supply chain that can deliver that. So that's where we're the kind of the glue there, that for those who can't provide that themselves, as the subcontractors, we fill those gaps.
Well, it's almost impossible, right? You've got, being in construction recruitment, there's skill shortages across the board, and when you get to these it's hard enough to find a good quantity surveyor or a site manager, let alone someone who's an expert in, a reasonably new technology.
Exactly, and it's more than just knowing the technology; it's understanding building, right? So
yes, you got to understand
BIM isn't actually doing anything really new that humans have been building buildings for a very long time. The science is the same, the technology has changed, so it's just another tool in the toolkit of the construction industry to try and do what they've always done in the most efficient way possible.
Yeah, and so that's not all you guys do. You've got the architectural part of the business too.
So absolutely, and that's a way for us to develop the skill sets of our staff and give them options as to where they want to go. But there's always in the people who tend to know ArchiCAD and Revit are designers. And designers often want to design and be creative. And so we give them the opportunity to design houses and a light commercial. And if they are very detail orientated, then they've got the option to move into the coordination of services on large scale commercial, and then there's a lot of options for those guys from there. But it's understanding building first. The technology is one thing. I can draw anything in software. It's you got to understand what can be built and how people build and whatnot. So it's a good way for us to develop those skills.
So looking at it from your guys' angle, you get to sort of see things, certainly from the ECI point of view, the early contract point of view, where are the big challenges, I guess, in throwing the whole project together?
Right, so like most people in the construction industry, we take up a certain part. But I guess in terms of challenges to the adoption of BIM, which wasn't exactly your question, but we feel like BIM is kind of, there are challenges to the adoption of BIM, but we also find that BIM is kind of possibly a solution
to the challenges.
And the way that the industry has developed in New Zealand is, that design, bid, and build process where there inevitably becomes a disjointedness between the design phase and the construction phase.
There's so many parties that have all got competing interests and they're trying to do something. Whereas perhaps overseas they've got these big developers that just go, boof, right.
No, I think that's exactly right. I think given the scale of New Zealand, a developer doesn't necessarily own his own construction company. So we don't have,
very seldom. I think you've got some retirement developers.
So these design builds, absolutely,
and otherwise it's all chopped up.
Yeah, there's not a lot, right? So we have to use our subcontractor model and our supply chain and get it up to speed if we want to use BIM to, de-risk a lot of the projects.
Yep.
I think across the board, the amount of development happening in New Zealand is challenging everywhere, but particularly the high levels where, back in the day, you still can, you find these guys who can look at plans and can coordinate services, and they can see the high risk areas, and they can run it in their minds, and they can be on site, and they can manage those things, but those issues and those clashes. But if they're not around, or if they're jumping ship all the time because
Yep.
it's high stress in a lot of these.
It's a
large
very high
companies.
pressure industry.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're on a job that's losing money,
Wow.
and you're one of the very few highly skilled guys who can actually run that, you know, it's hard. You know, often they find it hard to stay in those spots. So BIM kind of gives a transparency to what's going on in that world. If it's in 3D, you know, you don't need some experienced guy to have it all in his head. You need some experienced guy to be able to look at a 3D model and say, all right, this is what needs to happen. I guess
It still needs to be someone who's somewhat practical, I guess, as well. Who's been there and delivered a project and gets it.
Yeah, always. It just means that you don't need, you know, I guess one guy can do more when he can look at it in 3D.
Gotcha, yeah.
And to be honest, and you can get it, and because of the software's ability to detect clashes in a 3D environment, you know, you can have it's easy to find a guy who can actually just run through those issues with, you know, the different consultants and different subcontractors. So these are issues, what are we going to do? Rather than have to manage it in his or her head.
So it's literally taking construction into a new dimension.
It's taking more of construction into the third and fourth and fifth dimension. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think architecture and structure has been in that world for quite some time. It's getting everyone else, and you know, there's a lot more to a building than just architecture and structure. I mean, I don't know if the camera can see up here, but you know,
it's not flash.
Pipes and duct and camera tray. And very exposed. And
so for those who don't know, we're under F45 and they make a bit of noise up there.
Yeah, a few pubs upstairs.
Yeah.
So it just gives visibility to all those parts of the building that can create problems, you know, later on down the track if they're not thought about in detail.
Now, wheeling it back to recruitment, where are the challenges, I guess, in the architectural space? And obviously, BIM's going to be tight. It's a new space. No one really, you know, it's quite new. But where are the challenges for you guys in terms of skill shortages, and from a recruitment point of view?
Yeah, I guess it's at the high level. I think there's a lot of smart kids coming out of school who are ambitious and they're motivated by, I don't know, if it's not green building, it's data and it's digital and it's doing things.
So these are the architectural grads that you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think those guys are sharp and, you know,
they grew up on iPads, right? So they're way ahead of the game.
I guess they did, yeah. But yeah, finding that senior level of talent where they can manage clients. We're a small company, you know, we've got staff of 20, so when we hire a senior person, we expect a lot. It's not too, you know, I guess concentrated. They do have to manage clients, they do have to manage subcontractors, they do have to understand.
And when you say manage them, you mean actually manage them as well, don't you? It's not just talk to them.
Oh yeah,
it's manage them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you know, I need to be able to trust my clients with them, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I guess my job is a director, but largely commercial management role. So it's finding clients and making sure they're happy, but in terms of managing their projects for them, I need to be able to trust other people to do those roles, and I need them to be able to train staff up, and really juggle a lot of balls. It's not easy. And then on the BIM side as well, finding a senior person who, again, it's very industry to industry. You know, I can make an introduction, find the roles, talk about our curriculum, but at the end of the day, we need a BIM coordinator, a BIM manager who can hold the hand of their client for 2 years and do a good job and treat them like a business partner, right? Because all my clients to me are business partners.
And me too. You know, there's always going to be the transactional side to recruitment, but we definitely try and be relationship first. A couple of hot leads there for any architectural recruiters who are viewing. So in summary, where do you see things going from here? Is it
vertically?
Is it? I mean, you guys need more inquiry. I know it's sort of early days for it all, but is the inquiry strong? People want to be talking with you. They want to know what you're doing.
I mean, for BIM, it's not. It used to be if it's going to happen, and now it's not even when it's going to happen. It is happening.
Yep.
And there's more and more jobs, and we've all seen how many cranes there are outside in Auckland City. There's a lot of commercial work.
There's a lot of
risk. There's companies going bankrupt. There's risk minimisation and doing things as efficiently and as most informed way because your design is done right. I think a lot of issues in the construction sector. I mean, obviously there's competitive industry where prices, costs are increasing, but there's also the design part is where the design isn't understood and complete, where risks start skyrocketing. So we know that that's a high value area. Everyone understands that now. I think BIM's arriving at the perfect time for New Zealand industry to take advantage of it.
Yep.
If not, be masters of it and start selling it to the rest of the world. I know Australia's
well, Frontier, right? It's I mean, at a farm, maybe we can know how to BIM.
Well, there's certain construction companies that were focused on the dairy industry that haven't done so well, right? So maybe
I don't know if it's those jobs that hit them, but it is. What I think they're doing pretty well on those jobs, and some of the other stuff, the apartment type builds. And for you guys in Chile, in Auckland,
you're in Christchurch. So Chile's kind of driving BIM as well at a government level, as New Zealand has, and they're kind of one of the leaders in South America in terms of, construction and professional services. So we're hoping to be leaders in South America at some time. That would be a great opportunity for New Zealand. And in terms of the architectural design, Kiwi Build's there, and we're right there.
All the demand's there, right?
And getting houses through consent, surely, and it's a good time to be in our industry. Obviously, no one knows what's going to happen next year. But
I think everyone knows what's going on this year.
Yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of building this year, that's for sure.
Mate, appreciate it so much for coming on. I actually got your little present.
Right.
It's summer, it's hot, you gotta keep
South Africa.
Of course.
I use this all the time. This is go, mate.
We got the t-shirt. I can't give you Lance. You can.
Lance Jr.?
Yeah. No, there's not much cheers, but mate, really appreciate you coming on today. And anyone who's in the space who wants to talk more about BIM, architectural drafting, looking at a third party there, talk to the guys at BuildBim. I'll sort you out. Thank you.
Cheers.